The Frankfurt deal had left my bones weary but my spirit soaring. $13.9 million secured for the firm meant a hefty commission check, waiting in my future validation that 6 years of sacrifice was finally paying dividends. As I guided my rental car through familiar Denver suburbs, autumn sunshine spilled across the dashboard like liquid gold. Every turn brought me closer to the one reward I'd already given myself, the only luxury I'd allowed past my practical defenses. My parents' neighborhood hadn't changed. Same manicured lawns, same American flags fluttering from porches, same judging eyes peeking through blinds as I rolled past. I turned into the sloped driveway of my childhood home, heart quickening as it always did before seeing my baby. "Just a quick visit," I whispered to myself, fingers drumming against the steering wheel. Check on the Challenger, then back to the condo to sleep for 14 hours straight. The garage door opener blinked green in my hand. I pressed the button, savoring the anticipation. The door groaned upward, inch by inch, revealing the concrete floor where my 1,971 Dodge Challenger R divided by T should have been waiting, cherry red and gleaming under the overhead lights. The space gaped empty. My stomach dropped so fast I thought I might be sick. The overhead light illuminated nothing but bare concrete, a forgotten garden hose, and the oil stain where my car had rested. No Challenger. No rumbling 426 Hemi engine. No connection to Grandpa John. Gone. I sat frozen in the rental car, staring at the vacant space like my eyes could conjure the Challenger back through sheer desperation. When that failed, I found myself moving toward the house in a fog, my body operating on autopilot, while my mind screamed questions I was afraid to hear answered. The kitchen smelled like coffee and guilt. Mom stood with her back to me, fussing with the coffee maker, though the carafe was already full. Dad's newspaper formed a barrier between us, until I cleared my throat. The Wall Street Journal lowered inch by reluctant inch, revealing his face eyes that wouldn't quite meet mine. "Lee," he said, attempting heartiness that fell flat. "Congratulations on Frankfurt. Your mother made coffee. Where's my car?" My voice cracked on the final word, betraying the composure I'd perfected in boardrooms. The silence stretched between us, thick enough to choke on. Mom's hands fluttered nervously over coffee mugs, arranging and rearranging them in a dance of avoidance. "Now, Lee," Dad finally said, folding his newspaper with precise, unnecessary movements. "We had to make a decision for the family." That word family sent warning signals firing across my brain. In this house, family had always meant sacrifice. My sacrifice. My college fund diverted to Tessa's dance academy. My graduation overshadowed by Tessa's first gallery showing. My achievements acknowledged with distracted pats on the shoulder, while Tessa's mediocrity earned standing ovations. Mom turned, coffee pot in hand though no one had asked for any. "Family supporting family," she added, pouring the dark liquid with trembling precision. "That's what we've always taught you girls." "What did you do?" I asked, each word careful and measured. Dad's chest expanded with a deep breath. "We helped Tessa launch her business, that luxury hair care line she's been developing. She found investors, but needed capital up front for the first production run. What does that have to do with my car? But I already knew. The sickness in my stomach wasn't from jet lag. We took out a title loan," Dad continued, words picking up speed like he wanted to get through this as quickly as possible. $44,000. Tessa needed it immediately to secure her manufacturing slot. The room tilted sideways. "You put a lien against my car? My car that I paid for? That's in my name?" Mom stepped forward, hand outstretched. "Honey, Tessa promised it's a guaranteed success. She'll pay it back with her first profits. You'll get your car back in no time." That car was all I had left of Grandpa John. My voice sounded hollow, disconnected from the Inferno building in my chest. His stories about that exact model. The hours he spent teaching me about engines. You knew what it meant to me. Dad shrugged, a dismissive gesture that made my fingers curl into fists. "It's just sitting in a garage anyway. You're hardly ever here to drive it." "Because I'm working." The words exploded from me. 70-hour weeks, for 6 years straight. Do you have any idea what I sacrificed to buy that car? Their blank expressions told me everything. They didn't know about the brown bag lunches I ate while colleagues dined at restaurants, the tiny apartment with newspaper clippings of classic cars taped to the walls, the dating life I'd put on hold, the vacations I'd skipped, every extra penny funneled toward the dream that had kept me going. I could still feel the weight of the cashier's check in my hand. $87,000, the culmination of years of discipline. Grandpa John's voice had echoed in my ears that day. "Someday, Leighton, you'll have a beauty like this of your own." And now it was gone, handed over to Tessa's latest whim, just like everything else. "Where is it now?" I managed to ask, my throat tight. "Fast cash title loans on Federal Boulevard," Dad answered, relief evident in his voice now that the worst was out. "But don't worry, Tessa's launch event is next week. The reviews from her test group were phenomenal." I turned away before they could see the moisture gathering in my eyes. Weakness was a luxury I couldn't afford in this house. Never could. "Lee, honey," Mom called after me. "Your coffee." But I was already walking out the door, fury propelling me forward, mind racing through legal options and redemption periods. They might have taken my car, but this one time, they wouldn't get away with it. Behind me, the empty garage stood like an open wound. Dawn crawls through the faded curtains of my childhood bedroom, painting stripes across the popcorn ceiling I once counted to fall asleep. Sleep never came last night. Every time I closed my eyes, I saw that empty garage space, a concrete void where my heart should be. I swing my legs over the twin bed, feet finding the same worn spot in the carpet they always did. The closet door creaks on familiar hinges as I reach for an overnight bag that isn't there. Instead, my fingers brush against a stack of photo albums, forgotten relics shoved to the back shelf years ago. The first album falls open to Tessa's 8th birthday. There she stands before a 3-tier cake, wearing a pink dress that cost more than my first month's rent. Mom and Dad hover behind her, their faces bright with a pride I barely recognize. I flip backward, forward. The pattern emerges like a familiar melody. Tessa's dance recitals in costumes that sparkled under stage lights. My high school graduation, where Dad checked his watch 3 times during the ceremony. Tessa's first art showing at 16, with a catered reception. My grocery store job, captured in a single faded Polaroid where I stand behind a register in a green apron. A loose photo slides free me at 18, standing beside Dad at the kitchen table, college brochures spread between us. "Stanford costs $50,000 a year," Dad had said, tapping the brochure with his pen. "But they offered me that scholarship." I'd reminded him. Hope still alive then. "Still leaves $20,000, Lee. Your sister's dance academy is $14,000 this year alone." His voice had been gentle but firm. "You'll figure it out. You always do." And I had figured it out. Student loans, night shifts, 6 roommates in a 3-bedroom apartment. I had figured it out because I had no choice. Now, 31 years old with a corner office, and still nothing had changed. My phone buzzes against the nightstand. A new email notification slides across the screen. "Liberty Mutual Insurance. Leonholder added to your policy." My stomach twists as I open it, confirmation of yesterday's nightmare in black and white. "Fast cash title loans has been added as lien holder to your 1971 Dodge Challenger policy." I don't realize I'm holding my breath until my lungs burn. The bedroom walls seem to close in, decades of inequality pressing against my skin. My fingers move automatically across the screen. Title loan redemption period, Colorado. The search results load. 35 days, just over a month before they can auction my car. In the morning, the industrial district on Federal Boulevard smells like burnt oil and broken promises. Fast Cash Title Loans operates from a concrete bunker with barred windows and neon signs advertising immediate cash and no credit check. Inside, fluorescent lights buzz overhead, like trapped insects. A heavy-set manager with thinning hair glances up from a computer screen, recognition flickering across his face. "You must be Leighton Sanders," he says, pronouncing my name like he's read it from a file. "I'm here about my car, the red Challenger." He nods, unsurprised. "Beautiful machine. Your parents brought it in 2 days ago. I need to know how to get it back." His fingers tap across the keyboard, eyes never leaving the screen. Loan amount was $44,000. With fees and interest, redemption value is $47,000 even. You have 35 days from disbursement until potential auction. Potential? Hope rises unbidden. Mandatory auction after 90 days, but we typically move vehicles of value within 40. Yours will generate significant interest. He finally meets my eyes. Premium classics don't sit long. I pull out my phone, opening the calendar app. Today is the 11th of July. My thumb circles the 15th of August in red. Can I see it? Storage facilities off-site. Can arrange viewing with 24 hours notice. He slides a business card across the counter. Call that number. 3 days later, Sunday afternoon arrived with storm clouds gathering over the Rockies and tension building in my chest. Mom's dining room table stretches before me, set with the good china she only uses for holidays and serious conversations. Aunt Lorraine passes a basket of rolls. Uncle Marvin carves roast beef with military precision. Tessa sits across from me, examining her manicure with studied indifference. No one mentions the car until dessert. I reach into my purse, removing the manila folder I'd prepared. The slap of paper against mahogany cuts through polite conversation like a thunderclap. $47,000? I say, my voice steadier than my hands. That's what it cost to fix what you did. Dad sets down his fork, shoulders squaring defensively. Now, Lee, I printed the loan documents, I continue, sliding pages toward him. And the redemption timeline. And the auction notice that will be published if we miss the deadline. Mom's eyes dart nervously between us. Honey, we know you're upset. You make 6 figures, Dad interrupts. This is difficult, but you'll recover. Tessa reaches for her wine glass. It's just metal and rubber, Lee. Not like anyone died. The room goes silent. Even Uncle Marvin stops chewing. This isn't about a car, I say quietly, each word deliberate as a footstep on thin ice. This is about respect and boundaries. You took something that wasn't yours to take. Tears gather in Mom's eyes, the first sign she truly understands the magnitude of their action, the weight of lifelong patterns suddenly visible in harsh relief. Aunt Lorraine pats Mom's hand. They were just trying to help Tessa succeed. With someone else's property, Uncle Marvin suddenly interjects, surprising everyone. His knife clatters against china. For God's sake, you don't take someone's property without permission. The battle lines draw themselves across the table. Mom and Aunt Lorraine on one side, Uncle Marvin unexpectedly on mine. Dad caught somewhere in the middle, frowning at financial figures he can't dispute. Tessa sinking lower in her chair as family history unravels around her. You didn't just gamble money, I tell them, gathering the papers with hands that won't quite steady. You gambled my life's work. You gambled the one thing I had that connected me to Grandpa John. Silence falls heavy as cemetery soil. Coffee grows cold in delicate cups. Outside, thunder rumbles over the mountains, promising storms no one is prepared for. During the next week, I was gathering more documents to protect the car, making new plans, dealing with deadline projects, meeting new clients, just to find enough money to get the car back. On Saturday, the launch party for Tessa's hair care line sparkled with the calculated perfection of Instagram dreams. Champagne flutes clinked beneath the soft glow of Edison bulbs at Denver's trendiest boutique, while beautiful people with perfect hair posed with gleaming product bottles. I stood in the corner, nursing sparkling water. My sister floated through the crowd in a cream-colored sundress, her laughter carrying across the room as she directed photographers toward a display of her products. The sign above read, Crown, Luxury Hair Revival System. Your sister's really outdone herself, a woman beside me remarked, adjusting her statement necklace. I've been following her development journey online for months. I forced a smile that felt like a grimace. She's certainly worked hard on it. Worked hard on spending my money, I thought bitterly. The car I'd sacrificed years to buy now sat in a pawnshop lot while Tessa played entrepreneur with other people's futures. A commotion near the testing station pulled my attention across the room. A woman with ash blonde hair pressed fingers against her scalp, wincing. Is it supposed to burn like this? Her voice carried louder than intended. Tessa materialized at her side instantly. The tingling sensation means it's working, she assured, steering the woman away from the crowd. Natural ingredients can cause mild stimulation. But within 20 minutes, 3 more customers reported similar reactions. The festive atmosphere soured as whispers circulated. Behind the register, the boutique owner glanced repeatedly at her tablet, where I glimpsed a steady stream of notifications appearing. I excused myself to the restroom, desperate for distance. When I checked my phone, there it was, an email notification from Fast Cash Title Loans. Reminder: 25 days until the scheduled auction. The bathroom door swung open, revealing Tessa's panicked face. People are leaving, she whispered. Their scalps are turning red. The night ended with Tessa sobbing in her car while I called poison control from the parking lot. The verdict: nothing dangerous, but an improper pH balance causing topical irritation. The products were pulled from shelves before midnight. That was just the beginning. At work on Monday morning, I sat in a corner office with floor-to-ceiling windows showcasing the Denver skyline. 6 executives discussed the Frankfurt deal, but their voices sounded underwater. All I could focus on was the number in my head. 24 days. Sanders? My boss leaned forward, brow furrowed. You with us? I blinked, suddenly aware of 7 faces turned expectantly toward me. Sorry, yes. The projection spreadsheets show quarterly growth potential of 11% if we implement the strategies outlined on page 16. My boss tapped his pen against the table. We're on page 22, discussing client acquisition costs. Heat crawled up my neck as I flipped frantically through my papers. The room felt suddenly airless. Take 5, everyone, he announced, then quieter to me. My office afterward. In the bathroom, I gripped the cold porcelain sink, staring at my reflection. Dark circles shadowed my eyes, making me look like a stranger. My career, the one thing I'd always controlled, was now spiraling alongside everything else. I closed my eyes, focusing on my breathing. 4 counts in, hold, 4 counts out. A gentle knock interrupted the silence. My colleague Kevin's voice came through the door. Lee, you okay? I splashed water on my face before emerging. Kevin stood there, concern etched across his features. At 6'3", with prematurely gray hair, he looked like central casting's idea of a distinguished attorney rather than a financial analyst. Whatever it is, he said, offering a paper cup of water. You can fix it. I accepted the cup, laughing bitterly. Not everything has a solution, Kev. Try me. He leaned against the wall. I didn't spend 3 years in law school before switching careers for nothing. Over lunch in the company cafeteria, I explained everything. The empty garage, the title loan, Tessa's failed launch, the 24-day countdown. Kevin whistled low. They had no legal right to take a car in your name. Doesn't matter. I need $47,000 in a 3 or it's gone forever. My phone buzzed with a text from Sarah, my friend since 3rd grade. Coming over tonight. Bringing food. No arguments. True to her word, Sarah arrived at my door that evening with a casserole and a bottle of wine. We sat on my apartment balcony, watching the sunset paint the sky in violent streaks of orange. Remember when we were kids? She said, refilling my glass. And your parents forgot to pick you up from soccer practice 3 weeks in a row because of Tessa's dance recitals? I nodded, the memory still sharp after 20 years. You never complained. Just waited until someone noticed. Sarah set down her glass. Maybe it's time they notice. My phone rang, displaying Uncle Marvin's number. My father's brother had always been the family maverick, the one who spoke uncomfortable truths at holiday dinners. Got your message? He said when I answered. I've got $2,000 in my rainy day fund. It's yours. Tears pricked my eyes. Uncle Marv, I can't. Family supports family, he interrupted. Real support, not the kind that takes what isn't theirs. That night, I created a spreadsheet tracking potential funds, my emergency savings, Uncle Marvin's offer, a potential loan, still $30,000 short. Thursday afternoon found me back at my parents' house, Tessa sulking on the couch while Mother dabbed at tears with a tissue. We truly thought it would work out, she whispered. Your sister's test groups loved the product. Tessa crossed her arms. The supplier sent defective ingredients. It's not my fault the formula changed. We were trying to help your sister succeed, Dad insisted, stubborn pride hardening his face. You make good money. You'll recover. I stood, gathering my purse with steady hands that belied the earthquake inside me. Help her with your money, not mine. My phone pinged with a calendar notification. 21 days until auction. 21 days to save 6 years of sacrifice. 21 days to discover who would fight for me when I needed it most. On Friday afternoon, the bank statements spread across my kitchen table formed a paper battlefield, each number a tiny soldier in a war I wasn't sure I could win. My calculator blinked accusingly as I punched in figures for the 5th time, hoping for different results. Damn it, I whispered, pushing back from the table. My emergency fund contained exactly $5,021.38. The savings account I'd depleted to buy the Challenger now held a pathetic $742.19. My $401 was untouchable without penalties that would make the situation worse. The rejection letter from First National sat beside my coffee mug, its formal language translating simply to, "Sorry, we won't help you." The red circle on my calendar glared at me. 20 days until auction. "Think, Leighton," I muttered, moving to the window. Outside, Denver sprawled beneath gathering clouds. Somewhere in the city, my Challenger waited, hostage to family betrayal and my own insufficient resources. I needed $47,000. My phone buzzed. "Kevin from work. Any progress on Operation Muscle Car Rescue?" I texted back, working on it, then tossed the phone aside. The horrible truth crystallized. I couldn't do this alone. The very people who created this disaster would have to help fix it. The thought made my stomach clench, but I had no choice. I opened my laptop and created a new spreadsheet, typing column headers with vicious keystrokes. Each family member's name became a category. Below them, I calculated what each person should contribute based on their complicity and financial capacity. When I finished, I stared at the screen. The numbers were brutal but fair. Dad and Mom, $29,000. Tessa, $11,000. Me, $5,000. Uncle Marvin had volunteered $2,000 already. The plan required family accountability in precise dollars and cents. Sunday dinner arrived with predictable tension. Mom's pot roast sat untouched as I connected my laptop to their television. "What's this about, Lee?" Dad asked, eyebrows furrowed. "Solutions," I answered, pulling up the spreadsheet. "This is what each of you will contribute to get my car back." The collective intake of breath was audible. "Now wait just a minute," Dad started, rising from his chair. "You can't just waltz in here with demands." "Harold," Mom placed her hand on his arm. "Let her speak." I pointed to their column. $29,000. Your home has $137,000 in equity. A HELOC for this amount would be approved in days given your credit scores. Dad's face flushed. "You expect us to mortgage our home?" "You mortgaged my future without asking," I replied, voice steady. "And yes, I researched the numbers. Your monthly payment would be approximately $163. Tessa's eyes widened as I moved to her column. $11,000, Tessa. Your BMW will sell for at least that much. You can take the bus until you rebuild your business properly." "That's not fair," she protested, voice rising to a familiar pitch. "How will I get to work?" "The same way I did through college," I answered. "Public transportation." Uncle Marvin appeared in the doorway, his quiet presence lending weight to my presentation. "I'm contributing my entire emergency fund," I continued. $5,000 I've saved for medical emergencies or job loss. Uncle Marvin is taking money from his retirement savings. The silence that followed felt physical, pressing against all of us. "This isn't negotiable," I said finally. "Without all of us, the car gets auctioned in 3 weeks." On Monday evening, I sat on my balcony, watching the city lights flicker on. My phone showed confirmation that my parents had scheduled an appointment with their bank. Tessa had posted her car listing online with professional photos. Uncle Marvin texted that his retirement withdrawal was processing. Still, sleep wouldn't come. At 3 a.m., I found myself staring at the photograph of Grandpa John beside my bed. His weathered face smiled beneath his Korean War veteran cap, one hand resting on the hood of his own Challenger. "This isn't just transportation, Lee," he'd told me once. "It's American history. These machines built our country's soul." In the bathroom mirror, I discovered a single gray hair at my temple. I plucked it, examining the silver strand between my fingers. Stress made visible. My phone rang. "Sarah." "It's 3 a.m, I answered. "And you're awake," she replied. I had a feeling. "How's Operation Muscle Car going?" "They're cooperating. I think we might make it." "Of course you will. You're doing everything right, Lee." After we hung up, I opened the countdown app on my phone. 16 days until the auction. My chest tightened, but determination pushed through the fear. I'd lost my car once through their actions. I wouldn't lose it again through mine. My phone rings at 6:17 a.m., 3 days before the auction. Mom never calls this early. The HELOC is delayed. she blurts before I can even say hello. Her voice wavers with the same tension I feel coiling around my chest. The processor found a discrepancy in our tax records. They need one more signature. I press my forehead against the kitchen window, watching dawn break over Denver's skyline. How long? 2 days. Maybe 3. The timeline crashes around me. The auction is in 3 days, Mom. 3. I know, Lee. Your father is at the bank now, waiting for them to open. After hanging up, I drive straight to Fast Cash Title Loans. I need to know exactly where we stand. The manager, a bald man with surprisingly gentle eyes, greets me by name now. We've become familiar in the worst possible way. Any chance of extending the redemption period? I ask, trying to keep desperation from my voice. He shakes his head. Company policy. 35 days firm. He shuffles papers on his desk. Got a collector very interested, actually. Specializes in muscle cars. My stomach drops. Already? Called yesterday. These old Challengers with numbers-matching engines don't stay available long. I sit in my car afterward, fingers trembling as I call my own bank manager. Kevin had put me in touch with her last week, a favor pulled from his network. Paula, it's Leighton Sanders. Is there any way to expedite that personal loan we discussed? Her hesitation tells me everything before she speaks. The committee flagged it for further review, with no collateral except your salary. The call ends with polite regrets. I stare at the steering wheel, the sickening realization washing over me. We might miss the deadline. 6 years of sacrifice, slipping away because of paperwork and timing. My phone buzzes with a text from Mom. Don't give up yet. That afternoon, I find Mom standing in a high-end pawn shop downtown, sliding her grandmother's pearl necklace across the counter. The pearls catch the fluorescent light as the appraiser examines them. Mom, what are you doing? I whisper, rushing to her side. Her chin lifts slightly. Contributing. The appraiser offers $4,000. Mom accepts without haggling, her fingers lingering on the velvet box before sliding it toward him. Outside, she hands me the envelope of cash. Your grandmother always said these would be for your wedding day. A small smile touches her lips. This seems more important. That night, Dad calls from his office downtown. The desk lamp's glow makes him look older on my phone screen. Second set of acquisition reports done, he says, exhaustion evident in the shadows beneath his eyes. Finance approved the overtime. Another $1,200 by Friday. For the first time, I notice the gray at his temples. Across town, Tessa interviews at her former competitor's salon. She texts a photo of herself in a simple black dress, not the designer clothes she usually flaunts. They're offering assistant manager. Less than I made before, but steady income. I start tomorrow. Even Uncle Marvin contributes, selling his beloved fishing boat to his neighbor. Didn't use it much anyway, he claims when he hands me a wrinkled envelope with $2,000 in cash. I know he's lying. That boat was his weekend sanctuary. By Thursday evening, the impossible happens. $47,000 sits in my account. 1 day remains. We gather in my small living room. Mom, Dad, Tessa, Uncle Marvin, and me. 5 people staring at a bank statement on my coffee table. The tension that had divided us now binds us together. It's enough, I say, my voice barely steady. Uncle Marvin squeezes my shoulder. Damned right it, Island. Tessa looks up, tears streaking her makeup. I'm so sorry, Lee. I never thought. I nod, not quite ready for forgiveness, but recognizing the effort. For the first time in years, we share a common purpose. Friday morning arrives with pale sunshine. We meet at Fast Cash Title Loans, walking in together. The manager blinks in surprise, clearly not expecting the entire Sanders family to arrive as a unit. We're here to redeem the title loan on the 1971 Dodge Challenger, Dad announces, standing taller than I've seen him in months. The paperwork spreads across the counter. My hands shake as I write the check, the numbers blurring slightly. $47,000, almost half of what I originally paid for the car, gone in interest and fees. Dad's hand steadies mine as I sign my name. When the manager places the keys in my palm, their weight feels both familiar and new. Metal cutting into my skin, cold at first, then warming. I close my fingers around them, the edges pressing into flesh, tangible proof that some things can be reclaimed. Mom touches my arm, tears spilling freely down her cheeks. I surprise myself by pulling her close, feeling her shoulders shake against mine. Not forgiveness exactly, but something like understanding passes between us. The storage lot sits 6 blocks away. We drive there in silence, a small caravan of family vehicles. The attendant directs us to the back row, where my Challenger waits under early morning shadows. My heart pounds as I approach it. The cherry red paint gleams even in the dim light, unmarked and perfect. I run my hands over the hood, checking for dents or scratches, finding none. The familiar curves of metal reconnect me to Grandpa John, to the stories he told about this exact model. Original 426 Hemi. I hear his voice in memory. Nothing sounds like it, Lee. Nothing. With trembling fingers, I unlock the door and slide behind the wheel. The leather seat cradles me like an old friend. The key slides into the ignition, and I hold my breath. One turn and the engine roars to life on the first try. The rumble, perfect and powerful. 6 cylinders firing in precise sequence, sound washing over me like a baptism. Through the windshield, I see Mom press her hand to her mouth, Dad's arm around her shoulders. We drive home in procession, my parents leading, the Challenger following, Uncle Marvin behind. No words pass between us over phone calls or open windows. None are needed. At home, I guide the Challenger into my own garage, the one attached to my condo. The engine's rumble echoes off concrete walls before falling silent. I sit motionless, hand lingering on the fender, absorbing the moment. When I finally step out, the entire family stands watching. Dad holds out the title, properly signed back to me. "It's yours again," he says simply. I take the document, fold it carefully, and place it in my pocket. Then I press the button to close the garage door. It descends slowly, a barrier settling into place. Not to shut them out completely, but to establish where the boundaries now lie. As metal meets concrete with a soft thud, I feel something inside me shift and settle. Some doors need to close before others can open. The Challenger purrs beneath me as I navigate the winding mountain road, autumn sunlight streaming through golden aspen leaves. 3 months have passed since I reclaimed what was mine, and the memory of that empty garage has faded like an old photograph left too long in the sunday. My phone buzzes against the leather seat. Mother's face illuminates the screen, her 3rd call this week. I tap decline with my thumb, a small smile playing at my lips. The notification joins 5 others in my voicemail, each one a reminder that some boundaries are worth protecting. I downshift into a tight curve, feeling the rumble of the 426 Hemi through the steering wheel. Grandpa John taught me how to handle this beast on roads just like this one. "Feel that, Leighton? That's American muscle talking to you," he'd say, his calloused hands guiding mine on the wheel. The engine roars as I accelerate out of the bend, leaving the past behind me. Some boundaries are worth protecting, especially the ones I fought so hard to establish. Back at my condo that evening, Uncle Marvin carves a golden brown turkey with surgical precision. The aroma of sage and butter fills the space, mingling with Sarah's apple cinnamon cocktails. My chosen family gathers around the table I've set with care, crystal glasses catching the light from overhead fixtures. "When does your bonus hit?" Sarah asks, passing cranberry sauce. "Next Friday," I answer. "Most is going into investments, but I'm taking everyone to Aspen for a weekend. My treat." Uncle Marvin winks. "Your grandfather would approve of that balance. Save plenty, enjoy a little." My phone rings again. "This time," I answer. "Happy Thanksgiving," I say, my voice polite but measured. "To you too, sweetheart," Mom responds, hope threading through her words. "We miss you." I know. I keep it simple, watching Uncle Marvin slide perfect turkey slices onto waiting plates. Tessa got promoted at Scissors. Assistant manager now. Pride colors her voice, but it's tempered with something new, awareness of how this might sound to me. "That's good. Dad's HELOC payments going okay?" A pause. "We picked up weekend shifts at the hardware store. Should have it paid off in another year." I nod, though she can't see me. "I'm glad. I have guests, Mom. I should go." After we hang up, Sarah raises her glass. "2 boundaries. And second chances," Uncle Marvin adds. The following Tuesday, I sit across from Dr. Winters, sunlight streaming through her office blinds. Do you still feel angry when you think about it? She asks, her notebook balanced on her knee. I consider this, watching dust motes dance in the light. Not exactly angry, cautious, like I'm standing at the edge of a pool, testing the temperature before deciding whether to dive in. She nods. And the car? I took it to a show last weekend, met some of Grandpa's old car club friends. I smile at the memory. They remembered him telling stories about teaching me to change oil when I was 9. That must have felt affirming. It did. One man, Frank, showed me pictures of them at a rally in 1982. Grandpa had the exact same model, said he'd been following my restoration updates on the club forum. Uncle Marvin had found me there, standing among men in their 70s who patted my shoulder and told me stories I'd never heard. John would be proud, he'd said, his voice gruff with emotion. Not just of the car, of the woman you've become. The Challenger isn't just nostalgia anymore. It's a reminder that I can rebuild what matters, protect what's mine, and still find joy in the journey. Sunday morning dawns clear and cool. I'm in the driveway by 8, bucket of soapy water beside me, chamois cloth in hand. The Challenger's cherry red paint gleams as I work, each stroke a meditation. Mrs. Haggerty from across the street slows her morning walk. Beautiful machine, she calls. I straighten, wiping my forehead with my sleeve. Thank you, it was my grandfather's model. You've done it justice, she says before continuing on. My phone chimes with a text. Mother, could we talk soon? I study the message, water dripping from my fingers onto the concrete. 6 months ago, I would have responded immediately, guilt driving my fingers across the keypad. Now I take a breath, considering what I want. Maybe next week, I type, setting my phone aside. The sun catches on the Challenger's freshly polished surface, reflecting my image back at me. I see a woman who knows her worth, who understands that love doesn't require sacrifice of self. My car isn't just metal and chrome. It's proof that boundaries matter. Even family can't take what you worked for without consequences. But maybe, just maybe, they can learn to respect the lines you draw. I run my hand along the fender, feeling Grandpa's presence in every curve and contour. Some journeys you make alone, some with chosen companions, and some, if the conditions are right, with those who've earned their way back into your trust. I haven't decided if my parents have earned that yet, but for the first time, I'm open to the possibility that one day they might.